Hey there, everybody. This is Uncle Al here with the Crazy Bird podcast. It has been a minute, and there's a weird sound going on with my mic for some reason. I don't know why, but anyway, a lot of crazy stuff, and just life is crazy, and nothing makes sense, and all that. Been a minute, and I just have a lot I want to just kind of riff on, and more of that jazz, as they say, all that jazz. And, I went to school for jazz, too. Like, I'm supposed to, be one of those, really cool jazz musicians who plays all the weird notes, even though no one really wants the weird notes. But some people want the weird notes. But none of the notes are really weird to begin with. They're just fucking notes. It's like, you play this note, and then you play that note, and then you play this note. Each note's a little different, but then you put them all together, and you get yourself a nice note sandwich. I don't know, music's cool. It's nice, it's cool, it's friendly, it's fun. It's invigorating for the soul, and it helps people to feel less crucially dumbfounded. That means nothing. I don't even know what I just said. Crucially dumbfounded? What the hell does that mean? The point I'm trying to make is that music is good, and it invigorates your spirit, and it gives you motivation, and it helps you when you're in the gym. Trying to work out like another soulless robot drone on the treadmill. You ever look at when you're in the treadmill section of the gym and everybody's just kind of on those treadmills and they look just kind of robotic. It's sad, we're all just like hamsters on a wheel. It's like, yeah, man. We ask kids when they're born, when they're born, they'll be a little too early. It's like as soon as they're born, what do you want to be when you grow up? Yeah, we ask them that. When they're old enough, it's like, what do you want to be, Jimmy? It's like, I want to be an astronaut and a singer. It's awesome. But a lot of us are just kind of living the mundane, boring, painful existence of the modern era. And you just you get a good job, get a good career. Go to work, eat 3 meals, take a big shit, go to bed, and try to get laid. Oh yeah, and that's the song. Basically that's it. It's yeah, man, just get away, get a job that you sort of like, but maybe don't. And then hey, let's go to the club or the bar. It's hey, what's your name? Can I get your number? Can I get your number? And she's like, well, I have a boyfriend, actually. Or someone will be like, okay, yeah, my number. And then you're come. And then they don't answer. You get ghosted. $20. It's an inside joke. If a girl's ever being kind of standoffish when you try to, approach them or whatever, they're it's oh, that's $20. $20. Kind of makes sense, kind of doesn't. It's however you interpret it. But it's what are we really trying to do in this daily existence? The daily existence. It's I have to exist and find my way in life and all my feelings. I have a lot of feelings, I gotta find a way to make it so my feelings don't become too negative. Because negativity is a disease of the brain and of the mind, and there's quite a lot of it out there. Negativity seems to be the only way forward. And then there's always that one person who wants to be really positive about it, and it's hey man, what about positivity? What about positivity? Believing in positive things and nice things. Oh yeah. It's okay, I'll try to be positive. It's I'll try. It's don't try, just do it. It's okay, I'll try to do being more positive. It's I'll just be more positive. Yay! All my problems are solved. Woo! Anyway, yeah. So we have a literal fascist takeover happening in the United States. It's pretty nice. In quotes, of course. It's not really nice, but, what else are we going to say? It's oh my God, this is terrible. Yeah, it is terrible. You have Elon Musk ransacking the government, closing all the important agencies, so his billionaire, robber baron friends can get more tax cuts. Yay! Taking money away from the poor and the elderly and giving it to the top 1% and the criminals on Wall Street. Classic blunder. And George Carlin even joked about this 30 years ago. He was like, they're going to get it all. They're coming for everything. They're coming for your money. They're coming for your retirement money, Social Security. They want to get it back so they can give it to their billionaire friends on Wall Street. And that's kind of what's happening now. Old people are already being denied their Social Security payments because Elon Musk, mistakenly, is thinking they're dead. And his cracked out Doge team of all these cringe 19-year-old Zoomers who don't have a clue. They're just like, oh, yeah, this guy's dead. Okay, so that's happening. All our allies hate us now. I think it's pretty safe to say that. Canada's like, oh, God, get the fuck out of here. You know, Canada was like our sister at one point. Now it's like that sister that doesn't even want to talk to the brother because the brother, like, took a shit on her prom dress or something. You know, it's like, get the fuck out of here. I don't know why I gave Canada an Italian accent. You know, Canada probably wouldn't have it. They'd probably be like, get the fuck out of here. You know, that's how Canada would probably say it. But it's for some reason, it's fun to give things an Italian accent. It's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? You know, it's like, but you're not Italian. You're Canadian. Hello. That's another thing you never hear about. You never hear about Canadian Italians. Have you ever even seen one? A Canadian Italian. Like, what would that sound like if you combined both of those accents? Like, it would be really difficult. It'd be like, you know, like, yeah, boot, what the fuck you doing? Hey, get over here. Like, hey, how you doing? Hey, how you doing? Yeah, what you doing? Kind of sound like that, I guess. Like, sort of. I mean, not really, though. I don't know. You guys can try that out. In a nutshell, I am pretty fucking depressed. Love is a joke. It's a big, fat fucking joke. It's an illusion created by the brain to keep the species going. When you're in love with someone, it's basically just chemicals. You're high on a drug. And your brain is producing the same chemicals that other drugs inflict on your brain when you take them, like crack, for example. So basically, if you're in love, you're on crack. There you go. And yeah, there was this girl I was going out with for a minute. She was really cute and nice. We got along really well. You know, and it's sad. You know, it's sad what happened. She ended up leaving. It's just like, whatever. You know what? Love's bullshit anyway. Yeah, love stinks. And, you know, honestly, it's not even real. It's just an illusion. It's a fairy tale, you know? That's all it is. You know, and then you always see those people, it's like, we're happily in love. It's like, not for long. Wait till that honeymoon phase wears off, bitch. Sooner or later, it always does. You know, there's always that happy honeymoon phase, you know, like 5 to 10 months, and then all of a sudden the arguments start happening and the punches start throwing, and then sooner or later a cat is getting involved. And it's like, I'm keeping the cat. It's like, well, it's actually my cat. Like, you didn't even want the cat. Turns out it was just Cat in the Hat. But that's something else. I was just trying to be random there. You see what I did there? Didn't really flow, but I tried. Yeah, you know, so there's that. Honeymoon phases, you know. And then there's always those people, like, yeah, I'm always astonished. Like, this is like, I feel like a lost art. But, you know, there's always these people in the older generations, like, the, you know, boomers and beyond. You know, more like greatest generation. You know, the generation that kind of grew up during World War II, or that were kids during that time, right? You know, they'll just always, I feel like they're always just like, oh yeah, we've been happily married for 60 years. We've never had an argument. And it's like, hey, well, that's great. But let me just ask you one question. How much wine was involved in that process? How much suppression of your emotions and feelings was involved? Like, how many times did you just, like, stifle your rage and shove it down, you know? And now you're just, like, telling everybody, like, oh yeah, we've been happily married for 80 years. I mean, we both resent each other, but, you know, we don't say it outwardly. I don't know. I mean, sure, okay. I'm sure there's a couple of people who've been married 80 years and they're still happy by some miracle and they don't want to kill each other, but that's probably not the norm. I mean, what else? Jesus Christ. I got a crazy neighbor that lives underneath me. That's a whole other story. Like, banging on the walls like a lunatic and then laughing like the Wicked Witch of the West last night on repeat like a broken record just to piss me off. It's like, all right, bitch, all right, whatever. You don't want me to get up for work. Well, hey, at least it's Saturday now. And you watch. Sooner or later, Musk and all these cretins are going to try to take away Saturday from everybody. You watch. Eventually, it's going to get to the point where it's like, yeah, well, Americans have to start working now for 6 days a week instead of 7. And they're just going to get rid of it. And then it'll be like, you know, the early 20th century before the progressive era gave us labor unions and all that. And it'll be a thing where you only get one day off. And then they'll take that too. You watch. The private sector's already trying to do it. So, there you go. It's like, are we great yet, MAGA? Let me ask you, if you're listening to this, let me ask you, are we great yet? Old people now, since Trump has won, they're getting their Social Security payments denied. You have people being deported with no due process. many of whom are innocent, and they're just being assumed that they're in a game because they have a tattoo. Or not even that. You have people coming to visit our country, Germans, French, whoever else, scientists, regular, ordinary people coming and getting abducted by ICE and getting imprisoned. Just because one guy, there was one scientist, he got deported back to France. Like he was coming here for a science convention. Conservatives are anti-science anyway, but he was coming here for that, and he had some anti-Trump stuff in his text messages. Apparently, they seized his phone with not even having a reason to do that, and it's like, oh, he was criticizing Trump. So it's like, oh, going back to France, And remember that 20 years ago? I remember 20 years ago, conservatives were all like, they were all like, I don't want French nothing. I'm not having French fries. I'm having freedom fries. It's like, well, the Republican Party now doesn't even want you to be trans. So talk about freedom, right? It's like no trans people, no gays, and basically just be a straight white male. And then, but even then, you're not going to have any rights. So no one gets any rights. No one gets any freedom. We're just going to lock up women for having miscarriages. Like that's literally what's happening in some states now. Women are getting criminally charged for having a miscarriage. Like, you can't make this stuff up. But hey, America, land of the free, home of the brave. In theory, of course, not in reality. There's a couple of brave people, but they're outnumbered, sadly. The majority, the overwhelming majority of Americans, just don't care about intelligence. They want to jack off and go on TikTok. But TikTok's really bad, though. Kids should not be on TikTok. But the parents are just like, oh, whatever. Okay, I could do my job as a parent and emotionally bond and mentally connect with my kid. Or I could just be a loser and a piece of shit and just give them a device and let them go on TikTok for 10 hours. And then when they go to school, let their teacher have to deal with the consequences of their fucked up mind, which has been corrupted by overly stimulating stimuli that doesn't stop. It's like, there you go. Thanks for leaving that as for me to deal with as a teacher. Thanks a lot, bitches. All right, anyway. It's like, well, you gotta create engaging lessons. You gotta create an engaging lesson that, like, the kids will just then naturally focus and there won't be any behavior issues. It's like, really? Like, what? What do I have to do? I have to be fucking Mickey Mouse? It's like I could make the most engaging lesson in the world where, like, Louis Armstrong falls out of the sky and starts playing the trumpet while riding on a dragon, and some of these kids still aren't going to give a shit. It's like, but it's like they definitely know about, all the memes. But, see, I'm just breathing for a second. All right, so now here's our next segment. Our next segment, are you ready? It's things that are definitely happening somewhere in the world right now. And this is a game I love to do with my friends, and I'm going to do it with you. So somewhere in the world right now, in a sketchy alleyway, there's a guy, and he's white, mind you. He's white, kind of frail, looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. He's a bit down on his luck. He used to, be a manager at a big company. He got into crack and lost everything. His wife divorced him. His kids hate him now. He's hopelessly addicted to crack, right? So this is happening somewhere in the world, I guarantee it. In some alleyway, somewhere in some city in the world, somewhere. He's in a weird alley, and he's got a ginormously thick, large, girthy cock just like deep in his mouth, and he's choking on it and gagging. And he's just in the back of his head while this is happening, he's got a ton of regret and shame, and he's thinking, like, how the fuck did I get to this point in life? And of course he's thinking it because he can't say anything because there's a cock deep in his throat. And he's doing this all for a simple, tiny bag of crack. I mean, the other guy who's doing this is probably enjoying it. The guy who's shoving his dick in his throat, but and just imagine if, like, the guy who was doing it just happened to be like Hungarian. I don't know why I thought Hungarian. Right, German. No, not German. Jamaican. I don't know why that would be funny. But then people would be like, that's racist. It's like, well, actually, no, it's not racist. Like, the white guy's in the underprivileged position. He's being forced to suck the dick for the coke. And the Rastafari and Jamaican guy's just like, oh, yeah, man, you want this coke, man? But then again, Jamaicans don't really do coke. I mean, they're more like into weed. So anyway, here's another thing that's definitely happening somewhere in the world right now. All right, so some dad just, with a really happy-go-lucky family, it's like, all right, I'm home, honey, and all the kids are like really happy and drugged out on iPads and everything. It's like, oh my God, Daddy's home, and they're like swiping while they're saying hi. You remember that in Dora? Swipe or no swiping? I guess they predicted something with that, right? He was on the iPhone before anyone knew about it. But anyway, this is definitely happening somewhere in the world. This dad just came home, really happy-go-lucky dad, who's normally every day like, I'm home, honey. He's coming home. He's like, kids, I lost the job. I lost my job. And outside, and then the kids are all like, you can't lose your job. We gotta get the new Nintendo game. And it's like, oh well, sorry, you're not gonna get it. So now they're having like a big sad family meeting where they're talking about how much harder they're gonna have it. They're gonna have to start living in a farmhouse, and the kids are gonna have to learn how to milk cows at 5 a.m. That'll be their new life. And then so that's happening. Some father just lost their job, and now he's like in an argument with the wife, and he's like, look, I'm gonna get a new job. Don't worry, I'm gonna get a new job. It's good. I'm gonna talk to Bill. He's gonna hook me up. And it's like, you said that last year that Bill was gonna hook you up, and you had to get the other job. Well, the other job's not there anymore. Bill's got me. And then meanwhile, Bill's passed out drunk, and he's doesn't even know where he is. All right, someone just found $5, and now there's like another person who also thought they found it at the same time. Now they're kind of low-key fighting about it, but they're being polite. It's like, oh, was that your $5? Oh, okay, it's yours. Oh, got it, right, okay. Well, all right, yeah, I mean, you have it. That's definitely happening. Let me think. Some old guy who's really, really old, he was trying to have sex again for the first time in like 10 years. He found some like old woman on eHarmony that would go out with him. So he finally decided to try and get laid again, and he threw out his hips in the process, and now he's like, oh, shit, my fucking hips, oh. He's like, oh, my God, you didn't tell me your hips weren't that strong. I didn't know. Oh, my God, I'm calling 911. And then there's a whole process, and, they got to, like put his dick back in his pants while he's getting put onto the stretcher. It's a mess, And it's not like he was going to unload anything anyway. I doubt there's anything left in there. What else is happening right now? Some really nerdy guy just is leaving a library, and he was in there for 3 hours reading some really nerdy fiction book. And he's 45. He's got this little smile on his face, like, oh, I just read this great book. I'm really, really happy today. And now he's going outside and trying to smell the roses. And then he's like, oh my God, I just read this awesome book, everyone. Look at this. It's like, okay, great. Yeah, good. Go read another one. People can't even read anymore, though. That's a lost art now. People can't read. Reading is no longer a thing. Let's see. Some really ditzy airhead 21-year-old frat girl just found out she got pregnant from one night stand. Now she's in an argument with her mom, and she's like, her mom's like, I didn't raise no slut. What you doing out there? Your dad would be so upset. And she's like, I'm just living my life, Mom. You leave me alone. I'm just living my life. They stop telling me what to do. And she's like, I didn't raise a slut. You're being a slut. That's happening somewhere. Someone just tried to make out with their girlfriend, and her breath smelled like literal shit and tasted like shit, and they're trying to hide it because they're still early on in the relationship and they don't want to ruin it. So they're just like, oh yeah, it tastes great. Someone was just trying to make eggs for their bratty kids, and they burn their hand. They're like, oh shit. And the kid's like, oh, what's wrong, dude? It's like, ah, burn my hand. It's like, oh, go get me the towel. Put it under cold water and ice. That's not ice, Jimmy. Get the real ice. Some old guys right now are going for a walk in the neighborhood, and they're just kind of they look kind of too happy for some reason, and then there's some kid looking at them from their window doing homework, and he's thinking, I wish I could be those old men just walking freely in the street, not doing this homework right now. That's probably happening, some kids right now are trying to do something really fun in their parents' garage, and their parents just turned in. It's like, it's time to do your homework. That's it. That way it's out of the way. You don't have to worry about it on Sunday. And now the kids are still in the garage. The parents just left the room, and they're thinking, we still want to do the fun stuff, though. We're not going to stop. So then they still they don't go inside and start doing the homework yet. And their father comes back in and is like, well, we just tell you guys. I told you to get the homework done. And the kid's like, well, we just We're gonna have some fun. Like, we'll do it later. We promise. You know, and it's like, no, you gotta do it now. Like, that's happening somewhere. There's a really happily married couple that's been happily married for 10 years, and now they just got into their first fight, and they're both thinking in the back of their head, oh shit, are we getting divorced? They're thinking it. They're not saying it, but they're thinking it. You know, now they're worried. Let me think for a second. Some really dysfunctional couple just found out that they're pregnant, like a really dysfunctional, psychotic couple. Both of them are on drugs. They just found out they're getting pregnant. They're going to keep it, and that kid is going to grow up with a miserable life and have a very painful childhood. And yeah, it kind of sucks. Someone just ate way too many Skittles. Now they're kind of feeling sick, and they're like Googling like what to do if you eat too many Skittles. You know, that's happening somewhere. Some fat guy in a meeting somewhere, like a business meeting, just farted terribly. It was one of those silent but deadly farts, and everyone's like holding their noses, and his face is like turning a little red. And he's trying to like just pretend he didn't do it. Someone was just running full speed and they shit their pants while doing it. That happened somewhere. Someone is eating fried chicken, and they don't want to be eating it, but they're eating it because there's nothing left in their fridge, and they have some old leftovers, and they're way too lazy to cook. So it's like, I guess I'll just eat the fried chicken. This is kind of dark. Some like really kind of like anger management father just like slapped his 13-year-old kid. His kid was like being defiant, and now he's thinking, oh God, why'd I do that? Oh my God, I just hit my kid. I can't believe it. And now he's like calling his like relatives and like, oh my God, I hit him. I don't know what to do. And they're like, just apologize. Just be a father's son. Just have a bonding moment. What else is happening? I don't know. Someone just clogged the toilet at their friend's house, and they're like really embarrassed, so they just kind of leave the bathroom and close the door, and they're just gonna pretend it didn't happen and let them find it later. It's happening somewhere. Yep, it is definitely happening. Oh, geez Louise, right? Anyway, yeah, AI is eventually going to take everyone's jobs, and then we're going to have mass unemployment. It's all coming, folks. We're heading in a dystopian direction. Oh, yeah, baby. Isn't it nice? Dystopia. Isn't it fun? It's like so fun, right? It's very fun. Let me think for a second. Oh, right now there's some like really like immature teenagers at the mall somewhere, and they're like running low on their parents' money. So now like one of the kids who has rich parents in the group, in their little entourage, like they're trying to like get ice cream or something, and two of the other kids ran out because they only have like a $6 allowance. So now they're like kind of like signaling to their rich friend, like whose dad owns a company or something, and they're like, oh yo, come on, Ricky, come on, just we'll get you back, you can just buy your ice cream, we'll pay you back next week. And the kid's like being kind of prissy about it, it's like, well, I don't know, guys, like you guys gotta like earn your own money. So that's happening somewhere, like it's like, come on, we'll get you back, we'll pay you back. Remember that as a kid, your friend would always ask for money. It's like, I'll pay you back. It's like, you will? Really? You pay me back? Okay. I'll pay it back. Imagine if everybody in the world just like farted at the same time. I mean, it would probably smell really bad, right? You'd have like dark clouds rise in the sky. Imagine if, let me think. Imagine if you had like 20 like kind of depressed millennial dudes all living in like a studio apartment at the same time because they're all like broke. It's like, yo bro, the economy's hard, bro, like I'm an artist, bro. So yeah, you have 20 like failed artists all living in a studio apartment. You have one guy sleeping in the bathtub. You have like four guys on a bed, and like there's a sleeping bag next to it. Then there's a cot, and there's people all on the couch. One person sleeping in the sink. That would be insane. 20 people in one apartment. That would definitely not work. That would be very disastrous. You'd have like literally just like a tiny corner to yourself. Like not even. It's like, here's 3 square feet, bitch. That's what you get. And you're only paying $10 a month in rent. So that there you go. That's what you get, bitch. Honestly, that wouldn't even be enough. That's the sad part. 10 times 20, that's only $200. So even imagine that. That's how fucked the economy is. Even if you were like sharing a studio. Let's say a studio is like $2,000, right? You know, that's a lot of money, right? But it's like, so let's say your studio is $2,000. And yeah, 20 guys splitting the rent. What's the math on that? I don't even know. Well, what's 2,000 divided by 20? I think 2,000. I can't even do basic math. Well, that's how fucked I am. My brain just is not working anymore. So that would be 100. So even if you were living with 20 guys in a studio, you'd still have to pay $100. That's crazy. Like if you're living with 20 guys in a studio, you should only have to pay like $2. Your quality of life is gonna suck. Imagine 3 foreignish kind of guys all like arguing about who gets the next cheese slice in a pizza bite. It's like, I get to the cheese. You get the cheese. What cheese? What? I get the cheese slice. And they have like really like kind of gross looking mustaches for some reason, and they're like I get the cheese. The cheese slice. You get a cheese. I get cheese slice. They all like pool their resources to get a pizza pie. Let me think. Oh, this is definitely happening. Some couple just finished having sex, and as soon as they finished, the girl was like, I think we should break up. And the guy was like shocked. He's like, what? Oh my God, why would you say that? Basically, yeah, life though is painful. There's a lot of crap. My heart's all broken right now. And many other hearts are broken also. Life is painful and miserable and confusing. No one has any answers, and everyone who thinks they have an answer is full of shit, because they don't have an answer, and they're just like idiots. So they go, I have the answer. You gotta pray to Jesus. It's like, great, okay, well maybe if, like, you know, by this time, I think people have been praying to Jesus for quite a long time now. You'd think that would make a difference. And then everyone's always like, well, love will prevail. Well, if love was going to prevail, it would have prevailed by now. What's it going to take, 5,000 years for love to prevail? Well, just one day everyone's going to wake up and be like, you know what? I should stop being hateful. And then everyone just hugs and then it's all good. Okay, all right, sure. Why not? Like, let's all love each other. Peace and harmony. I know that would be nice, wouldn't it? Wouldn't that be great if we could just love each other? But anyway, yeah, that's a wrap.